Welcome back to the Rick Shiels Golf Show podcast, everybody. Episode 134. I'm your host, Rick Shiels. I'm here with special co-host today, Sophie Walker.
Hello.
Thanks for being co-host today, Soph.
I know, thank you. Sorry, Guy can't be here.
He's off in New York.
Oh, it's not too bad then, is it?
He's not slumming it this week. So he's gone away, having a lovely time, seeing the sights. So we thought, well, you know what? Who has been a fantastic guest so far on the podcast, who is basically a regular, Miss Sophie Walker.
Yeah, I'm a listener as well, Rick.
And you're a listener. Well, you've ticked all the correct credentials to allow you to be a co-host.
And I only live 20 minutes down the road.
Perfect. Literally perfect. We've got loads to cover today. I think one of the things we've got to cover, because it's the topic on everybody's lips at the moment, LIV Golf. We will definitely come on to that. But in the world of golf, it's been a crazy week. Ladies major yesterday, MinJee Lee won it, which is actually sister of MinJee Lee, who's a friend of the show. So we're going to definitely talk about that. We're going to talk about you going for a ping fitting this week.
Got some new irons.
Oh, I'm intrigued to know what you got. I also got battered by a 16-year-old this week.
On the golf course?
Yeah, on the golf course.
Not in the street.
We're going to talk about that. And also the fact that I'm actually playing in a 100 ball this week. Yeah, playing golf with 100 people all at the same time, all on the same hole.
Wow.
But first off, I've had a busy weekend as well. I'm sure you have. I went to Robbie on Saturday.
I was so jealous. I saw this on Rick's Instagram, and you can take your Tiger Woods and I'll raise you with Robbie Williams. I have loved him since the Take That days. I've been to see him live in concert. And you, sir, you've made a video with him and backstage.
And he's been on the podcast.
Oh.
So, yeah, it was a bit of a mad one. He was doing his homecoming tour. He's from Stoke-on-Trent. If you're listening from America, Robbie Williams is one of the biggest UK. He was in a huge boy band, Take That. He then went on to have an incredible solo career. He loves his golf. He's not played for a little bit, he told me recently, but he loved his golf. We'd made a video a couple of years ago, and he texted me at the start of the week saying, do you fancy coming to the show on Saturday? I'm like...
You've got Robbie Williams' number.
Of course. And he says, I said, yeah, if you don't mind. Now, I thought, well, how can I do this? I didn't tell my wife straight away. I thought I'd surprise her because we were supposed to be going to a Jubilee party. So I'm thinking, I think this might just trump the Jubilee party. I don't think she'll be too upset with me. So I kept it a bit of a secret from her. And then Saturday, did I tell her late Friday or Saturday? I said, oh, by the way, got some bad news. We're not going to the Jubilee party this week. She's like, what do you mean? Oh, we are. I said, kind of got tickets to go and see Robbie Williams. She went, okay, let's go. Like, she was like buzzing. So I actually went with a few friends, and yes, before the show, Robbie's manager said, come backstage, he wants to meet you. Went backstage, and honestly, no word of a lie, this is half an hour before his show. Super chilled, super relaxed, chatting about golf, chatting about the PXG golf clubs that he bought that he doesn't like, which I told him not to buy. And he even said to me, yeah, but they're so expensive, they should be good. And I went, no! I wanted to shake him. I went, no! Just because they're expensive doesn't mean they're good. So I think he's going for some new clubs soon. But yeah, he absolutely killed the show. Honestly, you would have loved it, I must admit. There were some of the classics, some of the new ones. I'd had so much to drink. I was having the best time of my life. And yeah, it's pretty epic. Sorry to make you jealous there.
Yeah, I am well jealous. I went to see Liam Gallagher, which is another throwback to the 90s.
It is.
I saw him in Manchester on Wednesday, and he had lots of the old Oasis classics as well as some of his new stuff. So we've both done some concerts, probably why we've not got a great voice between us.
Yeah.
I've definitely been singing everyone else's songs.
I've definitely been singing too much this weekend. Funny enough, though, Robbie actually did an Oasis song. Because he explained the time when he kind of fell out with everyone at Take That, when he became friends with the Gallagher brothers. So he did an awesome, I can't remember which Oasis song it was now, Wonderwall or something, but it was absolutely epic. It was phenomenal. And then actually stayed at JCB because it was only down the road. Why would you not? And last week we talked about on the podcast that in the end of July I'm playing golf with John Daly and John Daly Jr. and me and a competition winner. And we walked around the golf course. A mate of mine who stayed with us as well, he'd never seen the golf course. So I took him out in a buggy. We went round the golf course. It's the best I've ever played. Ever.
Just talking a good game and showing him around.
Have you ever done that where you've just literally been, I'm sure you have probably for your job, just been out on the golf course, not playing, but being able to go and stand on the tee, go and stand on the greens. We actually found a Pro V1 in the trees. So I wanted to show my mate like the undulations of the greens, to be able to drop a ball down and go, look out. It's amazing.
I have to do that every week on tour, Rick. That's my job. So every Wednesday I drive around in a golf cart and visualise what's the best way to play the hole. Where should I hit it off the tee, into the green, where not to go.
No way.
It's really good. And actually, if you're talking out loud to your friend, you can start painting a picture, which you can use when you go play there with John Daly. It's pretty cool. I've done a golf day with John Daly before, and he is so naturally gifted. There's a great story about him, actually. He's in the car parking lot at PGA Tour event, and he's got his massive Winnebago. And he's sat there and he's making, I think he's got a barbecue, and Tiger Woods walks past. And he's like, Tiger, do you want to come for a drink? Do you want to come for some food? He says, no, John, I've got to go to the practice ground. He's like, oh, you don't want to do that. And he says, if I was as good as you, John, no, I wouldn't. But I'm going to the practice ground because I need to. And that's kind of the John Daly way, because he's so naturally gifted. And everybody knows that. And anyway, on this golf day, he came and he played this par 3, and he just hit the most beautiful cut 6-iron into the back right flag, and it was so easy. You're going to love it. He is a really top guy.
You know what I'm looking forward to as well? So again, I took my pal up to the 17th, the par 3. And again, when you're not playing it, it just looks incredible. It was hard, strong wind off the left. Pin was back left, impossible, like 240 yards or something silly. And I thought to myself again, stood there, and I was looking at the rough. The rough's grown way more than I remember, thinking, how hard is this golf course? You know, I'm going to really struggle next time I play it. And I thought, oh, crap, the next time I'm playing it, it's probably going to be when I'm with John Daly. And I was thinking of that hole. I wonder what he's going to hit on that par 3. Like, he must still be a long hitter as well.
Yeah, he's still a long hitter, but it's just the shape he can put on the golf ball. He can just, he'll draw on demand. He will hit a hard draw into that left win, no problem whatsoever. And he's just a quality golfer and so natural. He's still got his long swing and he's got his southern accent. It's going to be good. And then his son as well. I mean, I've seen him play
like
on
on
the father and son, and they actually won that father and son tournament, didn't they? So
against
this will be
Tiger
a
and
good
Charlie.
team.
Did you see as well the stat when he played in the PGA Championship recently? They monitored what he consumed through that round of golf, and he had something silly like 24 cigarettes in 18 holes. He had something along the lines of like 8 to 10 Diet Cokes and about 4 packets of like Skittles or M&Ms or something silly. Like, athlete that, innit?
Yeah, but Waitsley gets to JCB and he tries those sausage rolls. That's at the halfway house at JCB. They're epic. So he'll be having a couple of them as well at the end of July.
Well, so far, this is a crazy one as well. So far, the entry, if you didn't hear last week's episode, the entry to playing with me and John Daly, you've got to go over to my Instagram, make sure you're following me and following JCB Championship and leave a comment. In a week, JCB's Instagram has gone from 600 followers to 16.5 thousand followers.
Wow.
So it's jumped up 15,900 in a week.
That's how many people have entered?
Yes.
They must really like John Daly.
They must really like John Daly. It's not to play with me, is it? So you've had that pleasure and it's not that pleasurable. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I played golf last week at I think it's one of my favourite open venues. But weirdly, I don't believe that's kind of the common view, is it?
No, I was just shaking my head. Are we allowed to say where it was? Yeah, Royal Lytham. It's not a favourite of many of ours because it's really hard. There's a bunker everywhere you look.
Yeah, there's a lot of bunkers.
I played in a women's open there and came home very poorly in an ambulance, as some people would say, to miss the cut. There's that little par 3 right by the school.
Yes, the 9th.
No, by the on the back 9.
Oh, 12th.
Yeah, didn't judge the wind and hit it.
Well,
hit it right.
I had a little blow up on that hole as well. I won't give too much away, but it was a phenomenal break 75, which will be coming in 2 weeks' time, because last Friday there was no break 75. I mean, I had a lot of very sad notes on this, Soph.
I've had a lot of sad notes. The amount of people that have stopped me in the street and said about this break 75. The first question is, oh, Rick's short game. Oh, the second question was, what did you shoot? But everybody feels for your short game. Tell me about it. What are we going to try and fix this? Maybe that was why I was invited to talk it through.
For therapy?
Yeah.
Maybe I just need to lie down on the desk and you just take me to my happy place and go, it's okay, Rick. You're not going to duff that chip. You're going to hit it so close. It's been better. Not great yet, but it's been better. You know what I've done less, which is making it better, which scares me? I've practiced less. I don't know the logic about this.
Expectations have been lowered.
I think so. I think sometimes when I get something really in my brain, I'm like, I really need to fix something. I'll put everything into it. And about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was honestly grinding, proper practicing, putting loads of effort in. Went to see Dan Whitaker a few times for some short game lessons and some lessons in general. And starting to see definite progress on the practice green, a little bit even in normal playing golf. And then a bit of lack of confidence. You hit a couple of bad shots and suddenly that confidence just drops. And it almost makes it feel worse because I was like, I've really tried. Like, I've
done everything I can.
Yeah. If I duffed one without trying, I'd be okay. But I'm like, I really bloody tried. So in the last couple of weeks, we've been super busy recently, but I've not been practicing as much. I've been running loads. I've been getting fitter and getting stronger and not really practicing my golf. But what's crazy, like you said, my expectation levels have changed. Like, I know how to chip. I know how to play good golf shots. I do. But it's like scar tissue. Bad thoughts, bad memories, where sometimes what I've done, and this is a great little tip for people listening as well, there's been, over the last 3 or 4 months, since I've been playing a lot more golf in the last 3 or 4 months, there have been really good shots that I've hit. It's been a mixture of bad shots, obviously, but really good shots. So what I've done now, in my brain, I've actually got these kind of memory shots that I try and pull back on. So I've got, like, my favourite tee shot I hit. Like, one of them is the first hole at Delamere when we played. Like, as much as that wasn't a spectacular tee shot for me, I loved how I hit that. Like, trouble up the left, really tight hole. I'm stood there with driver. First tee's always a little bit nervy anyway. I've hit this lovely little buttercut right down the middle of the fairway. That's in the bank. It's a positive thought that's in the bank. I've hit some really good iron shots. I hit this incredible iron shot at Royal Lytham last week, which again has gone in the memory bank. I played with Lee Westwood at Close House, and as much as I played terrible that day, the last green, I had to chip into effectively half the match after giving him a 10-shot head start, obviously. And it was an awful lie. I had loads of people watching, like loads of people from Close House had come round and watched. And I was nervous as hell, but I played this lovely chip and nearly holed it. That's in the bank, and I'm trying to remember these. So when I'm stood over a chip now, I'm going, okay, Lee Westwood, 18th hole, that chip you nearly hold. Let's just do that again.
That's really good. Affirmations as well. I used to have affirmations before I used to go out and play, audio notes actually on my phone that I would say to myself and play them in my ears. It'd be like, you are a good putter. You don't have to hit a good putt for it to go in, see the shot, all that type of things. And you're just playing it over and over. And when I played with you, you stood over a shot and you looked paralysed by that golf shot. You could see the nerves. No, but visually you could see that.
Yeah.
So maybe now you're not thinking, don't fat it. You're thinking about something good, and it's going to get you in that state, is the one that we need to be in, that nice relaxed state of I can do this and I will do this. Because like you say, you've done the practice now. You've got to let it happen. And actually that's one of the hardest things to do. So really good that you're starting to put that mind games into play.
I think the other thing as well, there's this element of, I've hit so many bad shots on video now. It doesn't really matter. Like, I'm almost like, I used to be really bothered about hitting bad shots.
Give the crowd what they want.
I was like, it'll make someone feel better out there. Like, if I've hit a bad shot, I'm sure people watching, people listening go, you know, that actually made me feel a little bit better. I've just seen Rick duff it or whatever. So I'm doing it for you guys. I'm a team player. All right. I'm a team player. But yeah, the golf is definitely getting better. However, last week I played with Frank Kennedy at Prestbury. You play there quite a bit, actually, don't you, Prestbury?
Yeah, I played there a little bit. I've not played there this year, actually, so I must get a trip. It looks fantastic, actually, at the moment.
Frank's off +7. He didn't play his greatest golf. He shot level par. I won't ruin the video for people watching, but we actually ended up giving, similar to what I did with Tommy and Lee Westwood, Frank gave me a 10-shot head start. It went down to the last. I won't ruin it too much. But honestly, there was a couple of things that I really picked up on from this. And you might have seen it already, Soph. He's not like a 16-year-old that I was like a 16-year-old. Like, is this the new wave of young golfer coming through who have seen how to become elite athletes now? Like, he's strong, he's fast, he almost feels somewhat media trained already. Like, all of his equipment is like really tailored spec to him. He knows how to practice, he knows how to get it around the golf course. I didn't know all that at 16. I didn't know anything. Like, I was out like doing stupid stuff. Like, I mean, that might be why I'm not obviously as good as I could be, but is that what we're seeing now, or have you seen that in the past? It's just that it's been brought to my attention more recently.
I think it's another level that we're talking about now, and he is going to be that. It reminds me a little bit of the Sam Horsfields that have gone out to America, seen the big wide world. I've seen he's met Nick Faldo.
Yeah.
He gets taught by Dan Hoyen, who used to teach me, and he knows where to take him, who to expose him to. The fitness, I mean, Tiger started that years ago. It's something that you've got to do now. That's a given. The psychology, the same. Club manufacturers are also getting on board with these players early because they hope that when they turn pro, they'll be loyal to that brand if they've been supporting them for the last 5 or 6 years. And they're starting so much younger. They're playing in the US juniors and stuff like this.
Mad, isn't it?
It is absolutely crazy. But then there is only a handful that are that good. And I do believe he is. I think did he win the Spanish or the Portuguese amateur?
He won the Portuguese amateur. He's the youngest Englishman to make a cut on the DP World Tour. He's the third best 16-year-old in the world at the moment and the first best 16-year-old in Europe.
Look at that. He's travelled.
Yeah, he has.
And at 16, you probably had never played golf outside of England.
No, I bet I hadn't. No, at 16, I bet I hadn't. And I didn't know things like what my club head speed was. And even if I did, I don't think it was as big as of a top. Like, he knows what his club head speed is. He knows what his delivery numbers are, his launch angle, his spin rates. I didn't know any of that at 16. Like, that's how much the game has come on leaps and bounds now as well. Like, he seemed like a mini tour pro already. My fear, and you've mentioned it just earlier, when you get these now bigger tournaments, because certainly in America, and Frank said this off camera, in America now, there are big tournaments for really little kids. And I worry, is it going to burn them out? Is it almost too much too early? Like, you look at the Masters when they do the pitch and putt. Drive, chip and putt.
Chip and putt, sorry. Pitch and putt if you're British.
The drive, chip and putt. And some of these kids are so young, yet they're being exposed to like TV and pressure of a massive crowd. Like, is it going to help them? Or is it actually going to hinder them? Are they going to end up kind of going at the age of 10, 11, I can't be arsed with this anymore. I'm done with golf.
You'll see it.
Yeah.
I went to Loughborough University and I saw it through other sports. I remember my first couple of weeks there, I sat next to a girl who was a tennis player and she was a couple of years older than me and she'd played Wimbledon, junior Wimbledon, all of that, burnt out and was coming to university at 20 years old. She'd had enough of tennis. And I was thinking at the time as a golfer, I'm only just starting my career and she's already finished. You're going to see it. That's people, parents especially, but the kids want to do it. They can see that golden carrot hanging down, you know, the millions of dollars that you can win. It changes your life and the exposure. And there's going to be some kids that absolutely love it and carry on through. Look at Rory McIlroy, Tiger Woods. They've never been out the spotlight. In fact, they're more comfortable in front of people when there's nobody there. I mean, Rory spoke about it when the COVID times with no fans. He wasn't used to it. So you're going to get the likes of Rory and Tiger, but then you will get somebody in 10 years' time that you'll meet who said, I gave up golf at 13.
Yeah, I do. I can imagine it. I really can. It makes me also think, though, with this kind of new wave of these, like, golfers are definitely getting stronger, faster, more precise, better with the numbers and everything. We've seen that already. It then begs the question, I never thought we'd see it. Do you think there is somebody out there now watching or started playing or whatever that could potentially be the new Tiger? It gets pushed out so often, this guy's the next Tiger Woods. Do you actually think it's doable? Or do you think we have only seen it once in our lifetime, the Tiger effect? Like, can someone else do it?
There will be somebody. There always will be. And the fact that Tiger's been that successful will mean he's producing a lot more better players.
Exactly.
However, I don't think we'll see a domination because of that Tiger effect. There's so many good players now that it's hard for somebody to stand out. Tiger was winning 9 times a season.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And now, like, you see Scotty Scheffler and it's like, oh, wow, he's winning 4 or 5 times. We won't see Tiger effects like that because of the legacy that he's going to have left.
So he's almost, as much as he's going to probably produce the next Tiger, he's also having an influence on this fact that there's so many more of them to compete against.
Yeah, there'll be people as good as Tiger Woods at golf, but will they win as much? Maybe not, because there'll be a handful of them.
Oh my God, yeah, I didn't even think about that. He's almost producing his own prodigy anyway, like Charlie. I wonder if Charlie's going to be as good. Like, I wonder if he like worries about pressure. He doesn't seem to. Like, he seems just so kind of relaxed and chilled in it already.
He doesn't know any different though, does he? But he's always been by his dad's side in the limelight. What's going to happen when his dad steps aside?
Yeah,
that's when I think we'll really see it.
Talk us then through. You recently went for a iron fitting, did you then, at Ping?
Yeah, I did. I've been trying out irons all year, like you do, doing the reviews and everything. And it was what stood out for me, and it was the Ping i5-25s.
Okay.
Yeah, so
is that what you went for? Or?
Yes, I'd kind of already thought about that. I know when people do go for fittings, you might have a couple of irons in mind. I wanted those. I just didn't know if I wanted them in the power lofts or what shaft, etc., etc. So I went down to Ping like everybody else does, and I got myself fitted. It must be hard for a fitter. Do you think, trying to fit the likes of you and me, because we do know numbers? And
I'm going to be honest. I reckon I've had comfortably double figures of fittings from all different manufacturers for all different products. I reckon I've only ever had one really good fitting in my life.
Really?
Yeah. I've always really struggled with fittings because what I found when I go for a fitting, and I think I've spoke about it on the pod in the past, certainly if it's driver and I'm going to a brand, they want their driver to perform better than the driver I've currently got in the bag. So often, which is what most people want. They want a product that's going to be better than the driver they've currently got. But it ends up for me just being a bit of a macho kind of, we've got this driver that's going to definitely hit it further than your driver, and we're going to put this shaft in it, we're going to do that. I'm like, oh yeah, but that might not be what I want from a driver. I might want forgiveness. I might want to find more fairways. I might want a driver that I look down and go, that actually gives me confidence to hit. It's not just about launch monitor numbers sometimes, which when I've got into fittings, I feel like that's all it's about. Launch monitor numbers look like, and I also find there's loads of times where I've been hitting a particular driver or product and going, I love that, it's perfect. Oh, let's try it in this shaft. Yeah, but I've just said I like that. Like, don't give me anything else. I love what you've just given me. So I've had mixed thoughts on fittings, I'll be honest with yourself.
Okay, well, people that know me know that I lead the fitting. I know what I want.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you've got to say to that fitter. I want forgiveness.
Yeah.
Irons might be a bit easier because it's not all about how far they go. So I wanted to hit it a little bit further than the irons I've got at the moment because they're blades and I'm not hitting them far enough. So that was my first thing. I want to hit them a bit further.
Titleist irons at the moment?
TaylorMades.
TaylorMades.
So that was my first thing. I wanted a graphite shaft. He tried to put me in a steel and I said, I don't want that. Equally because my wedges are black graphite shafts, and like Cam Smith, I like to have everything the same when I look down on it.
Yeah.
But he was a good fitter in the sense that we spoke about spin numbers, and if we'd have gone for a different head and a different shaft, I was hitting the ball further. I wanted to hit it further, but I didn't want to hit it 10 yards further with each iron. I wanted about 5 yards. So then I had to say that to him. Look, I don't want to be hitting everything 10 yards further. I can't play golf like that. It'll take me too long to adapt. And then I did something which I think everybody should do. I took a handful of balls and went on the grass. And I said that to him. I said, look, I need to go and hit these on the grass because off a mat, I feel like they pop.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to pop off the grass. But equally, he was like, maybe go for a shaft that won't pop. And I said, no, I always hit it high off a mat. So I took a few balls, and they use Pro V1s actually at Ping, which is great.
Yeah.
I didn't do that when I first used to go as a youngster.
That's new. I didn't know that they use them either now.
And I asked, is it everybody? And they said, yes, everybody gets to use the Pro V1s. And I just went to the side on the grass and hit a few in front of the fitter. And he said, yeah, you're right. On the grass, they lower the ball flight. And that was it really. But I do think you need to know what you're looking for, and that could be the hardest thing. A fitter actually is only ever trying to do his best or her best for you, but equally they've only got that half an hour, haven't they? So they're only seeing that window of you, and you've seen every shot you hit.
Yeah, that's very true. You have got to go in with a real definitive kind of, right, this is what I want from it. I think probably where I fall in this kind of weirdly grey area is sometimes I'm going for a fitting because the brand, the manufacturer, want to fit me the best for their product, but I don't really want any different to what I'm already using because otherwise I'd be using it. So it's just like, just give me what you think is going to be best, that's going to suit me really. But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of fitting. So when do you get them? Have you got them already?
No, I've not got them yet. You don't walk away with them, which is a bit of a shame. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? So
I thought they used to do that service at Ping.
They used to as a tour pro. Yeah, you used to watch them getting made actually, which is very cool.
But now you're just a commoner. You just
I've got
just
to wait.
go
my
in
turn.
and wait. Oh,
yeah. But they did tell me one thing because I said, I normally have these shafts when I was on tour, and he said, well, when you're on tour, they do try and push you in the shafts which they can access easy, because if your clubs don't arrive or something breaks, they need to be able to send you that club straight away. Which I thought, but then what a good idea that is. They're going to fit you with the best one, which is also available, because that's something that you need, isn't it? Easy access. When
you were playing, were you sponsored by Ping anyway?
Yeah.
Was being a sponsored tour player a benefit?
Double-edged sword, I think, and I can now say that as I'm not committed to anybody. Ping were amazing to me. They looked after me from the age of 12 or 13 when I was nothing, if you know what I mean, a county player. So I'll always thank them for their support all the way through. But there are times when you think, would that driver have helped me? Would that set of irons have helped me? And I wasn't paid by Ping, but obviously I gained a lot of money from them in their support.
Yeah.
So sometimes you lose out. However, Ping is such a good all-round brand, I think you'd be fine. But there was a time where I felt I lost a bit on the driver.
Was there, yeah?
Yeah, because actually, you know me, I don't hit it far enough. I hit it straight enough. Yeah. And Ping are that, aren't they? If you want forgiveness, you go for Ping.
Yeah.
So maybe sometimes I was like, I'm missing out on a bit of yardage there. But as an overall brand, I think they do everything well.
Did you ever try then other drivers in that period? Like out of sight and go, oh God, yeah, there could be a bit more distance there.
Yeah, I remember when the Callaway Epic came out. Is it the Epic or the Epic Flash? And I was at the Women's Scottish Open. And that was the time that I thought, here we go.
Could do with this.
Yeah.
And you were effectively contracted for 14 clubs? Or was it just your loyalty?
I felt my loyalty to it. I'm sure if I said to Jeff at Ping, look, this driver is really helping me, I'll
put a pink head cover on it.
Yes, he would have been absolutely fine with it. But it was just me wanting to be loyal. I'm from Lincolnshire, and they'd done so much for me.
We spoke with Tommy, because I must admit I didn't quite grasp this idea of being sponsored, because having the flexibility to play in whatever clubs you wanted, I honestly thought it was a huge benefit, and still think it is to a lot of golfers. Because, as you mentioned, I don't believe any brand can make the number one product in every category. They just can't. It's impossible. What Tommy was saying, though, and it really kind of opened my eyes to it, almost his relationship with, let's say, TaylorMade, they almost act as like a mechanic to his equipment. So they'll be going out there, and it might be different at Tommy's level when he's out on the PGA Tour or DP World Tour, when there's obviously often there's time where there is big fitting trucks, certainly on the PGA Tour. They'll come out and almost assess his golf clubs and almost give him like recommendations on numbers that he needs to be filling, or they'll tweak his clubs, or they'll make sure they're absolutely perfect, like a mechanic would do an F1 car. And when he said that, I was like, oh yeah, that's actually quite a different take on it. I hadn't quite realised. I just thought, big money deal, signing with a TaylorMade or a Cal, big money deal, and then kind of just left to your own devices. But it is, at that level, your clubs and your equipment is so paramount to the success you have on the golf course as well. It kind of made more sense to me, really. So, but for you, I'm guessing there was no Ping Tour truck out on Ladies Tour when you were playing.
And there isn't now. Not even on the LPGA Tour. There's no big trucks. Maybe a women's US Open and the women's British Open, but that is it.
Wow.
And that's where seeing them once a year, you might... I was looking at Cameron Smith. He carries 3 lob wedges, but he only plays with one. And he decides on the course conditions which one to use, all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I was just packing one bag, like a suitcase and a golf bag. So excess baggage was important. You know, when you're flying Ryanair and EasyJet, you can get stung, can't you? I'm not flying private. So I can't carry all those clubs around with me. A 2-iron instead of a hybrid, everything like that, I can't do. And also, you know, you do it when you do the reviews. You see Justin Thomas has helped design this golf ball. I never got asked to design anything at Bing.
Oh, Soph, you'd have been good. You'd be a good designer.
For a driver that you can swing 90 mile an hour.
That goes dead straight.
Yeah.
Well, I'd take that every single day. Yeah, it is really quite interesting. Here's another one then. Do you think, and has it ever been tried, or is there events where there is almost like a PGA Tour event and then almost the following week the LPGA Tour go there?
It's happened, it's happened at the US Open.
Yeah.
Pinehurst. The women were there the first week and then the men the second. And it's happening in a couple of weeks' time at Centurion. So the LIV event will be at Centurion Club, and the following week is the Ladies European Tour Aramco Team Series.
For infrastructure and for fans going, it kind of makes sense. But I'm also thinking, is there not a benefit for the players? Like, let's say again, you're mentioning that the ladies don't always get access to the tour trucks, where the big PGA Tour events, the tour trucks are there every single time. Would it not more make sense that, okay, we're going to just, this is what our tournament's going to be. Let's plug in the men's event and let's plug in the ladies event, and the benefit from all of the kind of features there as well, like the tour trucks, the accommodation, the transportation, the sponsorships. Would that not work? Or
What, as in the week after?
Week before, week after, same week? Like,
there are huge bonuses to it. The infrastructure that will be at the LIV will remain. So that's very handy for the people that are organising it. The course might not be in as good condition.
Because of the footfall.
Yeah, the footfall, but there isn't as many people playing. But you've got to look at the whole running of the event. You need a lot of volunteers and a lot of spectators. Now, to ask 2 weeks of that in the same place,
that's a good point,
can be difficult. And also with tour trucks, a lot of them drive to the next week. So they'll be, if it's on the PGA Tour, for instance,
they pack up on Thursday,
and
Wednesday night even.
So they're there for the Sunday, Monday. So actually the women would miss out. The women need their own tour trucks.
That'd be a simpler way of doing it, wouldn't it? Actually, thinking about it. Well, talking about women's golf, US Women's Open, presented by, was it Pro
Medica?
Pro Medica. Well, they've helped the purse of this event, right?
Yeah, they have.
Is this the biggest ladies' purse ever played for?
Yeah.
Ever. And friend of the show, as we mentioned earlier, MinJee Lee's incredible sister, MinJee Lee, who's won, is it twice in the last 3 or 4 weeks or something silly?
She's won her last 2 outings, yeah.
She took, is it a tournament or a major record, and she's picked up $1.8 million, shooting 13 under par to win the US Women's Open.
That is correct. So the US Women's Open is the biggest major in women's golf because of the history behind it. That obviously, being British, we'd love to win the British Open, but MinJee Lee, she wanted to win the US Open. The trophy is awesome. It's a huge trophy, and it was a tournament record because US Opens, like the men's, is notoriously very hard. Now, you mentioned that there is a sponsor at the Women's US Open. That's something that doesn't happen in the men's game, but Mike Wan, who was the CEO of the LPGA, has moved to the USGA, and he wanted to elevate the events and the prize fund, and in order to do that he needed a partner, so that is why there's a sponsor. They sit below it. They don't say it's the Pro Medica US Women's Open. They say it's presented by, and that is why the prize fund was $10 million, so $1.8 million for the winner, and then second place, it's the first time a 7-figure number for second place, $1 million for second place.
1,080,000.
And you know that 80,000, the girl that came second had only won $86,000 on tour this year.
No way. So the bit she got over $1 million is almost matching up to her earnings this year already. Incredible. And she had a dominating lead going into the final round, didn't she? Like, is it really tough? Because it also happened on the men's tour this week with Billy Horschel. I think they both have 5-shot leads. I think that's weirdly harder position to be in. You take it every day, obviously, but it's like there is almost a pressure that everybody's after you. Everybody's got a number on your back, and you've got to go out there and still shoot a good enough number, hold everyone off to take victory.
And that's the thing. You could just shoot level par, couldn't you, and hold everybody off. And that's what you've got to battle with. There's only one way to go when you're at the top. You'll be thinking that. And so important to get a good start. MinJee Lee did that. She hit the first, which is a par 5 in 2. 2-putted, made a birdie. Billy Horschel did the same. Started off level par. You want to at least maintain that lead through the front 9. You don't want it to get to 2 shots. That's the issue. 3 shots is still okay. MinJee had a slight wobble, but made a couple of crucial par putts. And I have to say, she is one of the only people that I could go to bed early on last night and know that she would have won in the morning.
She's not going to mess up, is she?
She doesn't mess up. No, you've interviewed her brother, played golf with her brother. She's different to him. She's a lot more laid back, calm, collective. I think he says that her career goes in a straight line. Her life does, and his is a little bit of a wiggly line.
Yeah.
Some player. I mean, she won the US junior amateur in 2014, and in that interview somebody asked her about what's next, and she just said, I'm coming. It's just, she's very, very confident in her own ability. And Carrie Webb won around that golf course, US Women's Open. That's her idol, and she's gone and done the same, and was long said to be the best player to never win a major. She's now got 2 in 2 years. I think she could get another one this year. Yeah,
she's absolutely awesome. I mean, how proud must the family be as well? Like, you're literally there. I think they live in Perth in Australia. You're there watching almost week in, week out, one of your children just burning it up. Like, absolutely burning it up. I wonder what cut they're on. I hope they get looked after the parents. I'm sure they do. There's
a really good, she's at the prize giving and her phone rings.
Oh, it was her brother,
wasn't it? It was her brother calling. And it's great. And she won last year. She won a major last year at the Evian. And then not long after, he won. So they spur each other on. It's such a great relationship. And Adam Scott messaged on Instagram saying well done, and for an Aussie girl that's epic.
Yeah,
for Adam
that's
Scott.
Really cool. Well, I think Min Woo and Adam Scott kind of hang around quite a bit, so I just think it's amazing. Well done. I think again the fact that the prize fund, like, I remember going to the Women's Open at Carnoustie and that being a record prize fund at the time. This is a now new record prize fund. Like, these numbers now, $1.8 million, that only feels to me about 3 or 4 years almost behind the men's game now in prize funds.
The jump has been amazing in the majors. The majors have really stepped up. The US Open has doubled its prize money in the last couple of years, really. It was only $5 million a handful of years ago. So it's really stretching, and it's pushing the other majors to do the same. Evian is going up. The Women's British Open is going up also. The women's game is in a really good place, and there's some very talented players, and MinJee Lee for me is the best in the world this season.
Wow. Will the Women's Open at Muirfield be a new record prize fund again that'll beat this?
No, it won't beat this, but it will be
a record
for the Women's British Open.
Wow, incredible. You'll be getting the clubs back out, Soph. Is this why you just got fitted again?
I'm on course, I think, that week. So I'm not playing, though, talking.
Would you ever try and qualify for it again?
I will. I think when it comes back to Birkdale, Lytham, Royal Liverpool, I'll give it a go locally.
Really? Is that something like, do you ever get like desire when you see this happening now, when you're watching it and you're calling the golf, you know, I know you did it in your spare bedroom this weekend, the luxury life of Sophie Walker, but does it ever give you that kind of, oh, I want to get out there and play again, I want to compete?
Oh, I'll never lose the want to compete. One of the main reasons I stopped was because I couldn't make a living, that the money wasn't good enough and it didn't work its way down. It was top heavy, but now it's really top heavy because there's a lot of money, but it's filtering its way down. And I'm actually shocked of how far the game has moved since I've retired. Bit gutted, I'm probably 5 years a bit late, but really proud how far it's moved in those 3 years.
Wow. Talking about money, LIV Golf, the new tour with a global field, right? The players have been announced last week, which was a bit of a strange time. I think they were supposed to do it the week before, but whether the I's weren't being dotted and the T's weren't being crossed on contracts, it got pushed back to the Tuesday, which was a bit of a shame because it kind of overshadowed a little bit of the Women's Open and also overshadowed a little bit of the Memorial. I said that weird, didn't I? Why did I say that so northern? Anyway, the player list was announced and there were some big names and there were some shock names as well, I think. Biggest name being Dustin Johnson.
You think there was shock names?
Yeah.
Okay, go on then.
I thought the caliber of maybe to me not so much because I felt like maybe I knew a few people who might have been playing, kind of rumours and stuff. But I think for the general golf public, I think from my reading everything online, there was a big shock of, oh my God, he's gone to it. They've gone to it. Wow. Like almost more maybe of a public perception of shock then. But we've got Dustin Johnson playing in it.
Yeah, I think that's a massive pull for that event. If you look at the rest of the list that you're going to name now, I think he's a huge standout.
Currently 13th in the world, former world number one, two-time major champion, and a big character in the world of golf. Not the most charismatic character, but somebody who people want to watch. Like I remember, I can't remember which. I remember, but I can't remember. I remember one of the Opens, he was doing a practice round and I was like, I want to go and watch Dustin Johnson. I think it was at Troon. I want to go and watch him. I want to see him hit driver. Like, I feel like people are going to want to watch him potentially. You've got golfers like, I think no surprises were like Lee Westwood, Ian Poulter, Graham McDowell. You've also got some younger players, which I think they were a bit more of a shock, but, you know, also there's big money to be played for. Even like friend of the show, Sam Horsfield's playing in it. Like he's won recently on the DP World Tour. He's going playing in LIV. If you don't know what LIV is, it's 8 events this year. The prize fund for each event is $25 million. It's only 3 rounds of golf, so 54 holes. Next week it's going to be Thursday, Friday and Saturday at Centurion Club because a lot of the players then are jumping in jets on the Sunday to go and play in the US Open. It's at Centurion Club, London. It's a shotgun start, so you can have all golfers out on the golf course. It's only a 48-player field. And there's a team element, there's individual elements. There's lots and lots of talk about how much these guys are getting paid. It's rumoured that Dustin Johnson signed for $125 million to play in the LIV Golf events.
That is staggering, isn't it? When you look at Lionel Messi, he's on $130 million a year. He's the highest paid sportsman in the world, and that's his combined. So Dustin Johnson's going to get $125 million for this appearance as such in these 8 events. I don't know if that's a commitment for how many years? Nobody knows. I don't think we'll
lifetime
ever know.
commitment, potentially. But then, like I said, the prize funds are crazy.
$5 million for winning, isn't it? Which basically what's happened is the biggest event on the PGA Tour is the Players' Championship. That prize fund is $20 million. There was a huge kind of, oh, wow,
celebration
look at this.
Almost.
And what LIV have done is said, well, we're going to do more than that. So anything the PGA Tour will do, we will do more.
There has been backlash, quite a lot of backlash. There's been fans that have been disappointed with players leaving either PGA Tour. You know, I don't think it's a decision as much as leave PGA Tour or join LIV, but what's not been kind of worked out yet, and I believe it's going to take place once the players actually tee it up and hit their first ball, what the punishment is from the PGA Tour, because it's going to be fines. People are talking about bans. There's rumours of lifetime bans, which will be very, very interesting. You've had golfers like Kevin Na, who's currently 33rd in the world, 9 professional victories. He's resigned from the PGA Tour. Like, he's kind of come out and said, I'm not going to play in the PGA Tour anymore. I'm playing exclusively for LIV, which I didn't expect to see either, because I thought there was going to be times where, yes, this is an alternative option. You might be able to play in PGA Tour. You might want to play DP World Tour. You might then want to play in LIV. But the fact he's come out and said, no, I am just going to play in LIV. And majors, potentially, obviously. There's lots of kind of confusion about how this is going to affect world rankings, world ranking points. It's a lot of rumours about how it's going to affect these players playing in major tournaments this year, whether the Masters are still going to be eligible, whether you can still play in the Open. All this is yet to be kind of worked out and confirmed.
There's a lot, isn't there?
There's a lot.
And
this is even before a single shot's been hit. Like, it's crazy. The other big talking point as well is a lot of people know that this event, this tour, is backed by Saudi Arabia, and there's opinions on that. There's thoughts about that. It's just, there's lots and lots and lots and lots and lots.
It's been spoken about for a year or so, and a lot of people didn't think it was going to happen. Rory McIlroy said it's dead in the water in February, didn't he? And It's come. It's next week, and people are just waiting now. I think just tee off. Let's see what happens. The players have obviously made their decision, and they're going to put it back in the tour's hands, because the likes of Lee Westwood have said, I still want to play DP World Tour, PGA Tour. It's up to you to not want me. There's going to be a few people that might not be Ryder Cup captains because of this. Graham McDowell, Lee Westwood, Ian Poulter. They're saying, I still want to be a Ryder Cup captain. Absolutely. But maybe the tours might say, no, that is the punishment. People are talking about lawsuits. Who knows? I mean, this is disruptive, isn't it?
The most I've ever known in golf, and possibly the biggest disruption ever in professional golf. Like, when you talk about breakaway tours, there's always been rumours. I mean, PGA Tour was a breakaway tour, but like, this is so kind of, like you say, rubbing against the grain of what is known for professional golf. Obviously, these players have their families, their well-being, the money is very lucrative, and they're obviously thinking, okay, well, if I play in less events, I can make just as much money, if not way more money. It's guaranteed money. There's no cut. 54 holes, no cut. You are guaranteed to walk away. I'm sure it's $100,000 for last place, I think.
And in a world of professional golf, the likes of Lee Westwood has gambled on himself for the past 30 years, and he might not want to anymore. And he's not the biggest fan of playing golf in America. Champions Tour is a place that he could go and play when he turns 50. Might not want to do that. Might want to just stay at home in the Northeast with his family and play in 8 events a year and pick up a lot of money. There's many Southern Hemisphere players, South Africans, New Zealand, Australians, down to play in these events. These guys travel the world. They pack a suitcase and they don't come home for weeks, if not months on end. That's why they're doing it.
But still, a lot of these events are playing in the US. So,
yeah, but it's only 8 weeks.
Yeah.
It's 8 weeks. It's one less day of work. It's only 54 holes. There's no cut. For once in their life, they aren't gambling on themselves. They're taking a salary, almost, and the bonus of winning $5 million. The vast majority of the players on the list are coming to the end of their career. You can't really blame someone like Richard Bland for doing it. He's in his late 40s and finally broke through on the DP World Tour, but it's been a struggle for him. I think there's a few there, the likes of Sam Horsfield, that you question if he is banned from the tours, if he can't play in the majors. That seems a big shame on someone like that's career, because you'd like to think that that's his next level, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then again, who knows? Are they going to get banned?
It's going to be really, really interesting. Just a few other names that we've not mentioned. Sergio Garcia. He's a big name in world golf.
Yeah, but he made it pretty clear the other week, didn't he?
I didn't like that. He kind of spat his dummy out.
He does that, though, doesn't he?
I really didn't like that. A very interesting one is Chase Koepka.
I don't think that's interesting at all. I think he's got nowhere to play, and his brother's obviously got some sway in the world of golf, and guys like that I don't blame as much, because they do have literally nowhere to play, and their game isn't good enough to play on the top tours.
But one thing, is he almost like a placeholder for the first few events before kind of Brooks maybe comes over? Is there a bit of that? Because if this is the list right now, what's going to happen? Let's say the first event, let's say someone like Kevin Na wins it, okay? How many of the PGA Tour players are going to be looking and going, hold on a minute, I can beat Kevin Na. I can make $5 million. I want a bit of this. There wasn't that much of a backlash. The ban wasn't that severe. Let's go. Like I can only imagine this list actually getting stronger as the weeks progress. Like, this isn't guaranteed these 48 players playing for the next 8 events. This is the list for the first event. There are going to be definitely changes in this list, but 48 is the maximum. So people are going to get dropped. People are going to get kicked out. And then is it going to be a new wave of bigger names, more popular names that we've, that have in the past said, it's not for me, but money talks.
Well, I think there's going to be plenty of players asking their agent, how much did Dustin Johnson get? There'll be talk amongst the locker room. If it is over that 100 million mark, okay, right, well, we just said Brooks Koepka. I've won more majors than Dustin Johnson. So what's my worth?
Yeah.
Or somebody that says, I've only won one major. If he's getting over 100 million, can I get 80? There'll be talk of that, because it does happen to a small extent in terms of signing on with club manufacturers or appearance fees. What does Tiger get? He gets that. What does Rory get? So what do I get? It might happen with these. However, I think Dustin Johnson's probably going to get the most because he jumped first.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm going to run through the actual events, and then I want to talk about, because I think this is really, really where they've missed the point, is how it could potentially benefit the actual viewer. Because there's so much talk at the moment about money, who's playing, but actually, how is it going to be a better product for the viewer? So the first event is London, then they go to Portland at the end of June, then it's Bedminster at the end of July, again in America, Boston at the start of September, then Chicago in the middle of September, then over to Bangkok in October, then Jeddah, the actual only event that's actually been played in Saudi Arabia itself, and then the finale is in Miami in October, the end of October. Now, that list of lineup, you can see there's a lot in the USA, so a lot of USA listeners will be thinking, well, they might think, are they all of them played in Europe? Are they all played in Saudi Arabia? Obviously, there's a mixture there. The one thing, and it started early, I spoke with Andy Gardner, who kind of came up with the idea of the Premier Golf League, which this is a very, very similar idea, if not almost the same, is how is it good for the consumer? How is it good for the golfer, the golf fan? And I think that is where, at the moment, that's just not being talked about. From what people are saying, it's going to be streamed live for free. It's only 54 holes, which 3 rounds of golf, so you might not watch the EP World Tour or PGA Tour on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, potentially. It's on for a long time. This is going to be a shotgun start. You're going to have 5 hours of action over 3 days. A bit more, maybe manageable if you are such a golf fan. There's lots of talks about how the production's going to be better. Not seeing any of that just yet, but we'll see that potentially next week. Like, there's lots of potential, but I think the fan really has to buy into this. They messed up with the ticketing pricing, in my opinion. It was way too expensive.
You can now get them free, can't you? You've got a few codes out there.
They're giving them away.
Free.
So a lot of the players now who've signed up are giving away tickets, 100 tickets if you use their code, which, to be honest, in my opinion, the whole event should have been free anyway for the fans. Just get people there, like get people enjoying it potentially. Yeah, very, very interesting. It's this Thursday, we're actually going to find out what is going to actually happen, what it's going to look like. Is it going to be a success? Is it going to fail?
I don't know. I think they've got enough time and enough money to evolve it week in, week out. I've worked on the Aramco Team Series, the Ladies European Tour stuff for the last 18 months, and every event gets better. They learn from it and they go again. It's not in the spotlight as much, so they have that opportunity, but the infrastructure at those events are next level. The golf courses are very good. The players get looked after better than they ever will do. And I do think even with Centurion, there's rumour of, well, there's a huge stage that's been put on, which I would assume is going to be concerts and all sorts at night. So they're maybe going for some entertainment element as that. The only thing that I don't get...
DJ's contract to do karaoke.
Yeah, DJ is the DJ.
Stranger things have happened.
But in the Formula One in Saudi Arabia, they didn't sell a ticket. Next thing you know, Justin Bieber gets booked and the whole thing sells out. Don't be surprised to see something like that at these events. They have that much money to just click their fingers and bring the 13th ranked golfer in the world. They could easily do that with the music stars as well. There's no budget at these events.
Yeah. So
if they want it, they get it. I don't know. Would you go? Or are you going?
I'm currently not going. I don't know where I sit with it just yet. I'm intrigued to see how it pans out. I as long as for me, the product is really good for the fan, I see that as a success. If at the end of it, on Saturday afternoon, if people go, wow, that was really good, that was different, that was more exciting, that was better than what we've seen in the past, okay, that was a success. Forget the money, forget who's playing, forget even who wins. I think as long as, like I say, it's just got to be spectacular. And if it brings in new fans, it's great for golf. There's lots of talks about how they're going to incorporate a huge charity element into this with the money as well. Brilliant. Get more people into golf, get more people enjoying golf, get more people watching golf. If you do all that for me, then it's a level of success. And again, maybe live streaming it for free is a huge success. Like, we don't see that really at all. Like, you don't really ever get to see, a lot of the time now, live golf, because it's expensive, is often behind a paywall. If this is genuinely live and it's really, really good for the fan, then I think it could potentially work. One thing I'm doing this week, though, as I mentioned earlier, I'm playing in a 100 ball.
Yeah, I can't work this one out. You were telling me it earlier, and it's still not gone in the brain. So, a friend of mine, American Eric Anders Lang, who many of you will know from the channel. He actually was the reason why I started this podcast, believe it or not. So I used to listen to, I wasn't really dead into podcasts a few years ago. Oh, I love a good podcast.
And he had one, and it was really good, and I really enjoyed it. And he had some great guests on. They're cool. He's got a cool life. He lives in wherever he lived at the time, LA. Everything seemed pretty cool. He's quite a cool character.
Is this you trying to be cool?
Yeah, just a little bit. And I used to really enjoy it. And he was over at the Isle of Man, about 2017, I think it was. And he said, let's hook up, let's do a video. He does a series on YouTube called Adventures in Golf, where he goes around to all these crazy, crazy places and explores these amazing things that you think, I know golf as golf, going out, playing the Marriott Worsley Park, shooting 100 or whatever. That's how I know golf. Golf is played in so many different ways all around the world, whether it's golf on ice, whether it's street golf, whether it's ice, whether it's golfing like when he went over to Asia and you see how they make the golf clubs at Muir and things like this. Like, it really does open your eyes and go, God, there is actually a lot out there.
I went to Asia once and there was escalators on the golf course.
Amazing.
Unbelievable.
Who'd have expected it? So Eric, in his kind of journey, set up a company called Random Golf Club. I'm actually a member of Random Golf Club, and it's basically he wants to make golf more inclusive, which again I'm all for. So they do these mad meetups, and basically you all play golf together. Like, I've seen it on YouTube, I've seen it on social media. Like, lots and lots of people come together. They have the clubs. I think you play maybe partners. Yeah, I think you do. So there's only 50 balls in play, only. And basically, you all tee up, you mark your ball, obviously, you hit.
At the same time?
No, everyone hits the first tee shot. So it's kind of social. Okay. Everyone's chitting, chatting, like enjoying whatever. And then someone steps up, hits the tee shot. And then once everyone's hit, you kind of wander down the hole together and you kind of find your ball and you hit it again. And it's not really a competition or about score, but it's just a community. Like-minded individuals coming together and playing a golf course. And I'm doing a live podcast with Eric afterwards. There was tickets for sale on this, which is on Eric's Instagram. I don't know if they've already all sold out. It's down in London. And yeah, it's a really, really cool event, which I'm looking forward to. I might wear my hat backwards just to fit in.
And a hoodie.
And like rolled up pants or something and slacks. So I don't know. I'll try and do something different so I don't look as old man.
As golf nerdy
we do. Dad a 3 turning up here, just like everyone's like, hey man, this is really cool. Thanks for coming along. And I'm like, Hi, I'm Rick. Nice to meet you. Shaking everyone's hand on the first
day.
But
it'd be cool to see a different side of golf, like you say. And I've become more like that since I've retired from playing on tour. Before, I'd always say to somebody, what's your handicap? Don't ask that anymore.
No.
Where are you a member at?
Yeah.
Don't ask that anymore because it's not important.
Yeah. Even like, where do you play? Like, people, I know golfers, honestly, that will 100% call themselves golfers, and they've almost never stepped foot on a golf course. They go to the driving range, and they have clubs, and they have the best clubs, but they go to the driving range, and that's their golf. They'll go on Top Tracer, or they'll go and spend a bit of time working on the game or hitting long drives. That's golf for them. Like, golf is that's the umbrella. But golf isn't what it first originated as now. It's spread its wings and gone into so many different categories and so many different facets, which is all great for golf. Like, I honestly love now going to a driving range at a weekend. I take my kids and whatever. It's packed, full of what I wouldn't class as golfers.
Under 30s.
Just yeah.
If a golf club secretary walked in there, they'd be like, wow, do these people actually exist? Yes, they do.
They sure do. No, it's exciting. So I'm looking forward to that, but I don't know how it's going to work out. I'm going to try and make some sort of video about it. And we'll see what happens. I might get hit by a golf ball. Who knows? But it could be very interesting. Right. We've got some questions to fly through. Will you get MinJee on the podcast? I'd actually love to.
Do you know what? I thought that. And then I realised that they're in America, so we can't get her on first thing. I was gonna try somehow to get her on today. But
it would be cool. I want to try and hook that up.
I think those two together.
Do you think?
I think they'd be quite nice dynamic together.
Sorry,
brother and sister. Is that guy texting
no,
saying this is rubbish?
It's not
get
live.
Get her off.
This is a question for you, Sophie. Lowest round of golf you've ever played?
I shot 65 in my first ever Ladies European Tour event in Wales. I was an amateur.
Event? Oh my God.
As an amateur, I got an invite and I went down, teed it up, shot 65, -7 and was leading. I thought, this pro golf's easy.
That's from David Highland. This is a question for me, Aaron. Why are you playing so awful? To me. It gets better, believe me. I did a break 75 at Marriott, played better. I've got a break 75 out this Friday, hopefully, St Andrews, Old Course, and I eagled the last.
Ooh.
So
I think
stick that in your pipe, Aaron.
Exactly, and I just want to counteract that. I think that you're hitting the ball well, and you're not scoring well.
Nicely put. And World 666. Which days are you at the Open?
I'm at there Tuesday through to Sunday.
Oh, I've just trumped you. I'm there Monday through to Sunday. Monday, maybe even through to Monday.
Oh yeah, I'll be there.
Depending on wins.
I think I get there Monday night, but
I
don't officially start work till Tuesday.
What are you doing, Sky?
No, I'm doing radio.
Ooh.
Face for it.
Don't say that.
No, so radio is quite cool in the sense that people can come up and chat to me.
So is that radio for for the Open?
For the Open,
oh,
yeah.
That'd be cool. Because I can see the value in that. As a fan, you're at the Open. Obviously, you're only seeing what's in front of you. But if you've got a little earpiece in and you can listen to you and who else is doing it with you, do you know?
Oh, there's loads of us, yeah.
So like you'd be able to tell me what's happening on the other side of the golf course that I don't know about, or who's leading, or where should I follow and who's teeing off now. I like that. It's good value. You're adding a great service there, Soph.
Thank you. We'll be based on the first tee, which is quite cool as well.
That's really cool.
Yeah, just honestly, to the right, like literally to the right of the first tee.
Oh my, the atmosphere is going to be ridiculous. I saw one before, but I can't find the name of it now. Where would be your ideal, perfect golfing holiday destination?
I went to it this year. Well, actually, just first of all, I don't go to America very often, so I would like to do an America one, like a Pebble Beach, obviously. But my perfect one in Europe is Quinta del Lago. I absolutely love it. It's two and a half hours on a plane. You're 20 minutes from the airport, and the golf courses, the quality of golf courses, they've got 3 of them there, North, South, and Laranjal. They're epic, and it's such a nice place to be. And
nightlife good? Do you go for nightlife?
I go for some sociable drinks on the beach.
Nice
so there's a few bars and restaurants that are on the beach there. Shout out to Julia's. So I'd recommend down there. That's mine.
I'm going for a first lesson tomorrow. What should I ask the golf coach? It's an interesting question. Should I ask the golf coach? How do I get better?
I would
maybe more. What should you ask yourself before going for a golf lesson?
Yeah, I would try and own your golf lesson. Even as a coach, I don't like it when a player says to me, "Well, you just do what you want. It's your swing," or something like that. It's really not. It's your swing. Yeah. And you need to know about it all the time. I only need to know about it for this hour as such. So go in what you want.
Tom saying, what is the most slept on golf brand? It's like, what's the brand that people sleep on? That's not maybe getting the credit that it deserves.
Cobra's always one for me. But I think it does get the credit amongst golf buyers. I would say Wilson irons. Wilson this year, those irons are really good. What about you?
Wilson irons in general, I've used them in the past. They are fantastic. They really are. What golf brand do people sleep on? Wilson is a great shout, Sophie. I wouldn't have probably said that. I do agree. I think Cobra now is getting the notoriety that maybe it deserves. It's pushing the envelope. Yeah, I'm going to agree with you with Wilson irons. I can't think of anything that kind of beats that really. It's just a shame they almost tried to do, or they have tried to do too much Wilson. Like they're still trying to make drivers. Like obviously I was on that TV show, Golf Channel show, Driver versus Driver 2, where they're getting people to come and design drivers. And I just think they should stick with making really, really good irons, good wedges. They make decent golf balls, but again, it's not what they're known for. They're known for the really good irons, aren't they? So maybe just stick with it. Does simulator play hurt your game?
No.
So playing on a simulator. Now you coach in a simulator, don't you?
Yeah, I coach indoor and outdoor. I think a simulator for working on your swing is good because there's less things that can affect it. Obviously, the lie's always good. It's not raining. It's not windy. That type of stuff. But no, I think having a club in your hand and swinging it, it can never hurt your game.
If you could improve simulator golf, what would you do? There's a couple of things I think I could
The
think
putting
of.
element.
It's not great, is it?
It's not great.
I think if you were to, as we know what a simulator looks like, it's pretty much just a box, effectively, with a screen, a projector, a mat. I think a few things. I think first off, and I've seen mats that do this, if they tilt.
And a bit of rough.
Yeah, if they tilt and almost simulate the shot that you're playing on the simulator. So, for example, if you've hit it into the right rough and there's a hill, your ball, it goes in the rough and the mat actually slopes to simulate that shot. I think the other thing that would be really interesting is like some level of wind in there, even if it's just a feeling. Like a hole looks longer when it's into wind, and it only needs to be a little kind of breeze on your face, but suddenly you stood there going, oh yeah, maybe I do need to club up here. I can feel it. Or I think a shot that's really hard to hit when the wind's actually on your back.
Yeah, buffering into, so you're almost on your toes as you take the club back.
I think that's really hard wind. So again, some way of being able to simulate that, not in like a cheesy way, but in like a way that's kind of beneficial to your game. And like I say, putting, it'd be amazing if you could almost turn round on the simulator or do something different. And again, you had one of these greens that sloped, so you could simulate the putt you have on the golf course. So if it was right to left, downhill, whatever it may be, you could kind of simulate it. Because I do think simulated golf is really good, but there's definitely ways of getting it better. You know what's going to happen now? Someone's going to mess with me going, oh, you mean like this simulated? It's probably already out there, isn't it, that we just don't even know about. What's your favourite?
Oh, sorry.
Bless you. Favourite video you've ever made? Obviously, you make videos now. What's your personal favourite? I watched you one at my home track the other day when I caught you filming on my territory.
I know.
I watched the video though; it's good. I liked it. What was funny though, because I saw a bit of the behind the scenes of your man videoing you on the 10th green when he was chasing after the ball. I saw that clip in the video. I was like, I saw how that got made.
I like that.
It was
that
really good.
Drone.
Oh, drone, that was it. It was the drone footage,
drone
wasn't
followed
it?
the putt. That was pretty cool. What's been my favourite video? I went to a Hollywood golf club and we did a little bit behind the scenes in Northern Ireland, Rory McIlroy's golf club. And it was so nice to visit a place and you could feel how proud they were of him.
The love
For Rory, and how the golf club has benefited from him being there. So they've got a wonderful new simulator and bar, and how the juniors have come through, and how they speak about the juniors there, and that was really nice. And to see that he's not from this really posh golf club, he's just from a normal one. That was good. And then I got to lift the Warnemaker trophy.
That's so cool.
That was cool.
Because that's like a little museum there, doesn't it? Almost like a homage, a shrine to Rory McIlroy, which, why would you not? I've seen a few places that embrace when a tour player has played there or grown up there. But I think a lot of places should do it because it's a great talking point, isn't it? Like, would you have ever gone to Hollywood Golf Club if not? Probably not. No. I've been there. I probably wouldn't have gone unless it was for Rory growing up there and playing there. And I think you've got to embrace the golf clubs. If you've had a superstar go up through your ranks, even if it was for 6 month period, attach yourself to it and run with it, really. Because there's even a golf course in Chorley, Shore Hill, and Nick Doherty.
Nick Doherty's, yeah.
And there's a bit of a shrine for him there, which I think it's just great. Get a tour bag, get him to sign a few bits, a few little pictures. It just brings a story out and you go, oh, that's quite cool. He used to play here, or that's his lowest round here, or whatever it may be. And it does inspire that next generation of golfers coming through. They'll go, oh yeah, that golfer like a Rory at Hollywood, he was practicing on this very putting green that I'm practicing on now, and he's now playing on PGA Tour as one of the best golfers in the world. Like, there's definitely ways of encouraging junior golfers doing that, really, aren't there? Do you have a shrine anywhere?
I have, I do. I have one at Cleethorpes Golf Club. I have my cheesy photo up there.
And like an old tour bag signed?
No, I don't have that.
Not yet.
No,
you don't.
I don't have it. I'm actually going back there on Friday to play in the Pro-Am. And I don't play many Pro-Ams anymore, but I always go back to playing the Cleethorpes Pro-Am. And that's what you're saying. That's what it's all about. You want to be able to go back and see all those faces that they took you to the junior events, they drove you there, or they ran the competition and the local pro. And that's the way I felt when I went to Hollywood, that's how they thought about Rory.
Yeah. Well, definitely there's that, there's like says that appreciation that he talks so highly of that golf club as well. I'm looking through more questions. Someone's just asked very quickly, Brad, why is golf so hard? Bloody is, isn't it? Ugh. I'm with you there, Brad. Someone's asked for feet pics.
Okay.
Yeah, Josh has asked for feet pics. I don't think we'll give that. I think we're out of questions.
Let's finish on that one,
shall
we?
When will you be ever interviewing Tiger? This is to you and me. I
would love to. In fact, for this radio gig, got a phone call, would you like to work the radio at the Open? Yes, absolutely. Do you know the second thing I said? Can I be on Tiger's group? Yeah. And the guy said, well, you're the first person to ask. So I said, first come, first served.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know,
cool.
But I've now said it on the podcast.
Do you walk round inside the ropes with him if that's the case? So, or you're always in the studio? No,
there's when you're doing on-course commentary, you're allowed in the ropes. So if you're doing radio, it's just inside the ropes. If you're doing television like I did last year's Open, you're allowed on the fairways because you need to get the numbers and you need to say you've got 167 yards and the flag's on this way and all that type of mumbo jumbo. I will be better at that, everybody. So yeah, it will be inside the ropes.
You've got to interview Tiger.
I don't know what I'd say.
What would you ask him? Because there's a potential I might be on the same golf course with him very, very soon for 2 days. And there's a potential I might bump into him with a microphone and a camera and ask him something. What could be the first question I ever ask him? I almost want to ask him, what question do you hate getting asked?
Yeah. How's your leg?
Like, what's the one question that you always get asked and you just hate it? And then I'll just scribble out all my top 3 questions that I was going to ask him because that's what he's going to say.
I think the first thing I would say is I would thank him. Because I don't think me or you would be sat here without him.
No way. Not in a million years.
I mean, look at your logo. It's red, white and black. He's everywhere, isn't he?
He's literally everywhere. He is. If I'd have had it my way, I'd have called my son Eldrick, but didn't quite work out anyway. Sophie, thank you for being a guest or co-host.
Thanks for the invite. Really enjoyed it.
Promoted. Looking forward to hearing you calling more golf very soon. They call that in America, don't they? Calling golf.
Calling golf, yeah.
What do you call it here in the UK?
Commentating.
Yeah, it's better, isn't it?
It's better saying calling golf.
I know, I like commentating.
Do you? Oh, no.
Calling golf's a bit like, what are you calling it? Hard. Thank you so much. Thanks for listening, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Make sure you like and subscribe. Check out Sophie on all of her social media. We'll be back next week with potentially a very, very special announcement. Right. See you all soon. Little teaser there. And thanks, Sophie. That was amazing. Catch you next time. Peace.